Hey y'all, Drew Holcomb here. Going to show you some of my guitars. This is a 1967 J45 pawn shop find. I was in a pawn shop in Lexington, Virginia. Saw this old beat up guitar case, went over there and said what's in there, opened it up, and it was this guitar with no strings, all beat up. You can see all sorts of paint issues and whatever. And I said, how much is it? And the guy said, well, I'll sell it to you cash for $700. So I ran to the nearest ATM because it's probably worth $2,500 fixed up. And it's a great sort of guitar for the real jangly stuff, the rock and roll kind of stuff. And then let's see right here. This is a new guitar to my collection. It's a Larrivee D60 spruce top, rosewood back and sides, mahogany neck. I had one just like this when I first started making music, and it got stolen. And a friend of mine called me a few months ago, 12 years later, and said, hey, didn't you used to have a D60? I'm getting rid of one. So we got this one tuned down to drop C for some stuff tonight. They're like heavy metal tunings, which I don't play heavy metal, so it's always a good time. And then last but not least, this is the old trusty Martin OM28, early 90s. You can see lots of good road wear on this one. It's been taped together, re-spackled. It's like a bunch of different pieces put together, but this is the one that I've probably played close to 300 or 400 shows with. It's kind of my go-to. It's the one I fly with. It's the one that's pretty indestructible. So Martin makes a great guitar. So do a lot of other folks. That's why I like to kind of mix it up. But I keep it pretty simple out here on the road. A couple guitars, a good DI, a tuner. That's all you need, and a bunch of good songs, hopefully.
Hey guys, I'm Nate Duggar with Drew Holcomb and the Neighbors. I'm here, Tone Heaven, to show you some of my rig and things I use out on the road. So I'll start with my guitars here. This is kind of my main #1 guitar. This beautiful piece of instrument right here is an MJT Telly. Don't remember the model name, but I know that I love it, and it's a kind of Fiesta ready, not quite, I call it hot salmon color, with a Duncan Antiquity bridge, which is my favorite Telly bridge pickup ever, and the Duncan 59 in the neck that I found for $40. I also use this Telly from my very short-lived Fender endorsement. Is a 50s Road Worn Telly, which I use for one song, Fight for Love, and it's got Antiquities single coils in it. Next is my SG, a Craigslist find. A lot of these are Craigslist finds. This was just a standard SG that I kind of was getting a little bored with, and so my guy Greg at Classic Axe in Nashville does my setups. We put some Freyland's P90s in it and put a Bigsby on it, and it's kind of got a cool thing when you play it through a British style amp. So this is my Gretsch, pretty cheap standard G5 120 Gretsch that I've had for a long time. Bought it for my brother, and I played on a couple songs. I think I have it tuned. I have it down a half step for a song on this tour, but yep, it's one of my favorites. This is a good old Takumi nylon string, also a Craigslist find. I use it on one song called Postcard Memories. Didn't do that in the studio, but it kind of gives me a sort of a mix between an arch top and a nylon string that were both on the record. So, and then here is a banjo that I've had for 8 days. It is a gold tone banjo that I'm still learning how to play, but I was tired of faking it on a banjo, so I got the real thing. And I play this on Mama Sunshine. Got an LR Bags pickup in it that I really like. It sounds pretty good. Yeah. I'll show you my pedal board here. This is my pedal train, which features my favorite compressor pedal of all time, the Maxine compressor. Kind of overlooked, but a really, really musical, smooth pedal that I've always been a fan of. And also got a bunch of JHS stuff on here. I really love those guys. Morning Glory, the Ruby Red, which is like a Super Bolt with kind of a fuzzy boost that that I put in front of it. It kind of gives me a real sort of fuzzy, kind of lo-fi overdrive I have another board that at home that has a lot of walrus stuff on it and some of the other JHS pedals that I use for sessions and whatnot. But and when I play with other artists, these might be a box of rock or the walrus Mayflower, but out here I kind of get to do whatever I want. So I'm getting some fuzzy sounds from the Crayon and from the Ruby Red. And then of course Strymon pedals, these are the greatest. Never leave home without the cap and the flint. They're the cream of the crop and really good stuff. So yeah, so this is my road rig. It's ever changing. I'm always figuring out what works. Amp wise, I'm using some Tyler stuff out on the road right now. This is the Tyler HM18, which I really just picked up a few days ago. It's an interesting miking technique. Get the tweed sound right there. That's it. Yeah, this is the HM18, which is kind of a British style thing. Little 3-knob. This is broken. That I'm loving. This is really my second show using it, and I'm really a big fan of it. And I'm a big fan of John Britton and his work. If you don't know Tyler amps, you should really check them out. They're amazing. Use some third power stuff. Jamie, builder guy in Nashville, makes third power amps. I use a lot of his stuff back home, plus a lot of old Fender amps and stuff. Moving past the keyboard, because that's boring, is Showbud, a 70s Showbud Pro 1. Pro 1? Yep. Pedal steel that I've been playing for about 1.5 years now. Almost 2 years. And everybody thought it would be a good idea to bring it out on the road, so I'm struggling through playing it in front of people. And I'm running it through another Tyler, a Princetone, which I've used as a guitar amp a bunch, but it's kind of John's Princeton, and it's an amazing, amazing amp. Great for guitar, great for running pedal steel through, so I'm a big fan of him. But yeah, that's me. That's kind of all my gear. It's a lot. There's a lot going on up here, but I'm pretty happy with the sound I'm getting, and it's always changing night to night, so yeah.
Hi, I'm Rich Brinsfield. I play bass for Drew Holcomb and the Neighbors. I'm going to show you some of my gear. This is Christopher upright bass that I bought probably about 10 years ago. And I run that through LR bags here. Just kind of beefs up the sound a little bit. And then these other pedals down here, I run my electric. This is an Alien bass station. It basically is like 3 pedals in one. It's got a limiter on it, and it's got an amp generator that basically kind of makes it sound like an old B15. And then it's got a gamma fuzz for when I want to just get fuzzy. This right here is a Sans amp. I basically just use that for as my DI. And then over here, this is SWR. They don't make these anymore, but it's a 410 cab that I like to use. And this is an Ashdown ABM 500. And other than that, let's see. My basses, this is a like late 60s, early 70s K bass that just kind of sounds really gnarly, like really dirty sounding. For like the rock stuff, this is a Nash P bass. It's kind of like a 50, I think it's a 57 copy P bass, like an old Fender. And then this one is like a 62 copy J bass. And I think that's it. That's pretty much everything I use on tour.
Hey, Jonathan Womble. I'm the drummer for Drew Holcomb and the Neighbors, and gonna walk you through my setup for this souvenir tour. The drums are Sugar Percussion, company out of Santa Cruz, California. They're solid wood, stave-built construction, and this is actually mahogany because it's got kind of that darker, vintagey tone and whatnot. 12-inch, 16-inch. Pretty standard setup. The snare drum, same kind of wood, same company, but it's a 15 by 7, so it's pretty big. The compensator. Yeah, Remo coated ambassadors on everything. Pretty boring. Cymbals are Istanbul, which are fantastic. I've had them for a long time. Logos have worn off. 21-inch Mel Lewis ride, 22-inch dark ride. This is just an exist over a broken cymbal to be like a China thing, kind of gross. And these are brand new 15-inch 30th anniversary hi-hats that are just, they're like a unicorn set of hi-hats. They're amazing. Love them so much. Oh, this over here, this side snare is an old vintage, I'm not sure what year it is, maybe 70s. Ludwig Piccolo, pretty cool. A buddy of mine has let me test drive. It's pretty rad. My brass jingled tambourine. This is a big deal. Maybe my favorite part of the drum kit. I'm just kidding. It might be my favorite part of the drum kit. It's amazing. What else? This rug I stole from a club in Texas. They're no longer open. Yeah, DW pedals, DW hardware. Vic Firth drumsticks. It looks like a drumstick, like a piece of wood. What?
The front of it.
Oh yeah. So there's a guy in Memphis that printed this head for us for the tour, which is pretty rad, which goes along with the artwork that was done by a sweet lady, and man, we love it. And then it goes with this. I mean, there's just so many connections. It's just wonderful. Yeah, what else? Here's a talkback. I don't sing. Oh, here's a beer can shaker. Kids like that. ShamWow, AutoZone. Hook me up. Spend all my money on these. Yeah, that's about it. Thanks for your time. Bye.